Hello everybody, welcome to Ready to Roll. We are back with our 38th session. That is crazy to think about. 38.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Dang, sorry, I'm just kind of sitting here thinking about how much everything we had going on. But thank you for being here, those of you who are here. You know, I know that our streaming schedule has been inconsistent since pretty much the holidays, you know, so but we're, you know, and then we are coming up on vacation time again, so but you know, Ready to Roll is, you know, as we've, Ready to Roll is continuing, hopefully, mostly uninterrupted. But yeah, we should be, you know, we'll be coming to an end, you know, with Ready to Roll in a few months' time, as you guys might probably be expecting based upon how things are going. But yeah, so. And we don't have any crazy announcements. We don't have any upcoming expected delays. If that changes, of course, we will let you know through the Discord channel. But yeah, so recap of last time, because I have been really busy with the promotion and training a bunch of new hires at work. I forgot to ask someone again, so I'll do it again. So recap of what happened last time. The party, you know, got reacquainted with Artyom, and he rejoined the group. They talked a little bit about what's going on. Artyom revealed that his group he'd been with, the Chosen of Silhana, had been captured, but he was rescued by undead, which presumably were under the control, well, not presumably, were under the control of the Dark Priestess, who took him to the Isle of Sun Hollow and, you know, talked to him and kind of revealed the fact, you know, that everything else the other players knew, that they were the children of Morpheus, or descendants of Morpheus, and as such they had, you know, they were, you know, that's what gives them their enormous amount of power and their ability to basically level up. At the same time, it makes them expendable, because, you know, there are lots of children of Morpheus out there, or descendants of Morpheus, that are unaware and untapped, but ready to be tapped the moment one needs, you know, the moment one goes down, another one's ready to take their place. So Artyom talked about that, talked about how Adelheim is the site of the next sacrifice for the Profane Guard to bring back Uxthav, and they set sail on the Seahawk. The Seahawk was attacked during their voyage by a kraken, which let the party begin to be here and get back together, and you know, learn how to fight with each other, not with each other, but alongside each other once again. I'm sure there will be some fighting with each other a little bit, but they then arrived in Svarim, traveled down to Adelheim, and they learned about something called the Path of Shadows. They noticed that there were people who were missing shadows, and these people were their desire to do the things that are considered evil or dark seemed to be gone, and they also seem to be extremely happy, but they are missing their shadows. They met with someone whose brother gave them, you know, gave up his shadow and turned his life around. You know, they talked about how he was a gambler, a drinker, and a cheater, you know, an adulterer, and now he is a faithful husband, a you know, honest man and good father. And so the party was going to go talk to him, and his name was Vlad. You know, they got an address from his brother, and that's where they were headed.
Never trust a man named Vlad.
No, we never trust a man named Leo.
It's Leo.
Or Vlad. It's been too many Vlads.
True. So, you guys are on your way to talk to Vlad Nemirovsky.
Wow, do you even know who he is?
Did not get that last name last time.
I do. Well, you know,
sure?
yes, I said that last name, and you all said,
oh,
what?
Okay.
But
that's why I just removed it from my memory.
But yeah, so you make your way through Adelheim. You know, as you know, Adelheim is, you know, Adelheim's reputation, as we talked about several times, is for being the city of sin. You know, Las Vegas, basically, of Mordor. It's, you know, there's lots of crime. You know, I mean, not necessarily high crime, like petty crimes, like robbery and stuff, but lots of like larger organized crime. You know, you have the, you know, like a bunch of families like the you know, crime families, you know, illegal gambling and things like that. And as you're walking down what essentially would be the strip of Adelheim, though it doesn't have any official name, it's all changed. You know, gambling dens, as we talked about last time, have been turned into soup kitchens. You see...
Too many soup kitchens.
Yeah, too many soup kitchens. We talked, you know, that was a conversation we had last time. Too many soup kitchens. Brothels, you know, other, you know, places of ill repute have their windows boarded up and, you know, shut down. You see a few people, attempting to ply their trade along the roadways, but not as many as you would expect. You make your way through here and eventually find yourself at a house. You know, when you get out of what would be the strip to a more residential area, and you find yourself at the house that Vlad's brother told you about.
Patrick, while we were traveling, did it look like the streets, like you mentioned, there were only a few people peddling their wares or whatever, trying to go along their business? Does it feel like it's more deserted, or is it just there are only just fewer, you know, places open, but there's still, everyone seemed to be minding their own business?
No, they're definitely still as busy as ever. But, you know, there are people, you know, they aren't participating in these activities, you know, so they aren't buying these, you know, illegal wares off the side of the roads. They aren't, you know, soliciting women of the night, things like that. They aren't, you know, so, but they're still busy, like, and, you know, another thing that would have been common would be fake beggars, you know, people who, you know, were, you know,
panhandlers,
you know, yeah, panhandler, yeah, sure, fake beggars, yeah, panhandlers. So there's less of them, you know, because, you know, they're, you know, for a variety of reasons. Lots of people, you know, you'd assume that because, you know, people are perhaps being more giving, and so perhaps people are less needing in need. But also, you know, you figure that maybe some of these people are themselves no longer being dishonest about their needs. So, you know, it's still busy. You know, the streets are still crowded, people going to and from, but there's just less people partaking of what would be considered the evil practices, the dark practices of, you know, that would be found here. So. Okay. Alright, so you are standing in front of Vlad's door. He doesn't have too big of a front yard, but, you know, somewhat of a front yard.
Well, knock on the door.
Takes, you know, you hear a voice call out from inside. Just a minute. After a few seconds, you know, the door opens and you see this man. He's sitting there, you know, he's smiling there. You know, he's probably he's an average dude. You know, not nothing overly remarkable about him. You know, the average Mordviran, he would have, you know, fair skin. He would have, you know, darker hair, either, you know, brown-ish, you know, black brunette hair, regular, you know, brown eyes, just standard dude, standing there, you know, probably got a little bit of a scruffy beard there going, because you know, he's a commoner, so not necessarily as well kept as a, as nobility would have, but he stands there and he's smiling at you. Oh, good day, neighbors. What brings you to my home?
Well, we heard that you have recently undergone quite the change.
Ah, yes. I'm not well, I'm not boastful about it. I don't exactly keep it a secret. It has, the path of no shadows has changed my life. And oh, here, why don't you come in and have some dinner? I'd be happy to talk with you more about it.
I'm not hungry.
But we'll be happy to.
Was boasting the sin that he wanted to give up? Or is that just a coinkydink?
It was intended to be a coinkydink, but
It's one of the sins.
I guess it could be. It could be. You don't know. You didn't know how this guy was before. You just heard what his brother described him as. Well, even if you don't want anything to eat, why don't you come inside and sit down? I'll be happy to talk with you a little bit more and talk about my change to the path of no shadow.
I think a chat would be good.
Yeah, chat. You think a chat would be good?
Please, I insist.
Sorry about it.
I don't have much, but I'm happy to give of my hospitality.
A place to sit would be fine.
Perfect. All right. So he ushers you all inside. You come in. It's not a big house. It's a commoner's house. So it has a main front room, which is kind of attached to the kitchen. There are some stairs that lead upstairs that you obviously they lead upstairs. World. I mean, they could lead downstairs, but there's stairs that lead upward to the upper floor. That could, that probably houses a bedroom probably for him, and then and his wife, and then a bedroom for some of his kids. And as you walk in, it has this bright, cheery feeling about it. It's his wife is in the kitchen cooking something and humming, and you see his children are sitting on the floor playing games nearby. He has a son and a daughter. They look to be playing a form of jacks. And he is sitting there.
My former characters out of this.
He is sitting there, and he walks in, and the wife looks up. Oh, we have guests. Please, take a seat. And a quick glance. The only one in here that doesn't have a shadow is Vlad. Everyone else, their shadows seem to be intact. He motions to the table and says, "We don't have, of course, a lot of space, but please sit for a minute. Anything to drink? Of course, we have some water. I can get you some milk, maybe even some ale."
Ale. That sounds like a no-no.
I don't think I'm allowed to drink that anymore.
No, you are not.
Nothing. I'm just curious. Why, you don't know us, and we just ran into your brother, actually, and he told us about your miraculous change. And, but I'm just wondering, how come you feel so comfortable inviting us inside, just strangers?
I mean, I am not. I feel. I put it simply, I want to share the happiness and goodness that I have in my life with everyone else. So I don't see any reason that you would do me harm. I just want to be a hospitable neighbor and friend, perhaps.
Well, thank you, and I'm just curious because we have just arrived into town, and I mean, not long ago, this, Adelheim was the. Oh, how would you put it? You wouldn't invite your strangers, any strangers or anyone else inside your home, unless you knew them for a very long time. So I'm just wondering what happened.
Yes, I mean, it is quite a great shame of ours to admit that, yes, there was a time when we were not a good place to live. It was a dark time, but things have changed since then, We are more open. The path of no shadows that was introduced to us is, I would say, is something that we have been, that has changed us. I will admit myself that I partook of many of the vile pleasures and vices that could be found in this city previous to my conversion to the Path of No Shadows, but it is but ever since the path has shown up here, and people begin accepting its word, then we've been able to change our city from a better place.
So, if you don't mind, this is such a fascinating change of this culture here. What introduced you to the Path of Shadow? How did you come to hear of it? And it's just miraculous. You don't see this anywhere else.
Yes. I mean, I don't quite know how the Path of No Shadows came to be. I myself, I learned about it. I'd heard the preachers in the roads. They like to snail. There are some of our preachers that stand in the streets and talk about a way of enlightenment, but I myself, I did not have much interest in it until that fateful night. It was a few weeks ago. I was coming home from a night at the bar. I had just lost my entire week's wages in gambling. And I admit it was a dark time. I was thinking about how I would feed myself, my family, and I knew then and there that it was my fault. I needed to change, become better. And that's when Brother Mateo, he appeared out of nowhere. He found me as I was about to pass out in a ditch, a gutter along the side of the road. It was raining. He offered me his cloak, and he took me into his home. He spoke to me about the path. I was grateful for his assistance to start. He even gave me some gold to be able to take home and care for my family. And he said that his assistance came with a price. That I would need to sit with him and learn about the Path of No Shadow. I was hesitant at first. No, I wasn't. I was very set in my ways. No interest in changing, becoming a different person. But I'm a man of my word. I took his money. It was only fair that I gave him some of my time. He came over, and we talked for a bit. Then, I wasn't really convinced too much to start, and after some time, however, he convinced me to come see one of their meetings on a holy day, where I don't normally go to church. A lot of people in Adelheim don't, but I accompanied him to one of these meetings. And the experience, I don't know how to describe it, changed my life. Brother Mateo was preaching, and he talked about how we could find a new sense of purpose, new excitement, and if we just would give up the darkness in our lives. And so I agreed. And my life has been different ever since. Immediately, as soon as I agreed to give up the darkness, I could almost see it. My shadow disconnected itself from my feet, and they went up, and the Brother Mateo put it into this small urn. And any desire to do evil has left me.
Okay, but isn't, a shadow important?
What makes a shadow important?
Well,
How do you tell how much longer winter's going to last?
You only need your gopher to have a shadow for that.
Oh. Well, I'm sure
I
humans
was
need
more
it for something.
thinking the fact that there's the shadow indicates that there is the opposition that we need to learn and to grow in the way that Silhana would have us grow. She doesn't take away the darkness, she expects us to overcome it. By taking it away, you lose out on the gifts and the blessings and the lessons she has.
And that is the old way. The old church. That's what they teach. But this path of no shadows is a new way.
Whose way?
I believe it to be Silhana's way, but we don't specifically mention Silhana in our teachings.
Well, it's not Silhana's way.
Silhana is the goddess of light. In the absence of shadow, what is there but light?
With light, there's always shadow with light.
If a room is illuminated so brightly to prevent any shadows, is that really the case?
Yes, there'll be one behind you.
But what if everyone... And again, that depends on where the light source is coming from, but if there's more than one light source, that could prevent, if we were all shining so brilliantly that there could be no shadows.
There would be one underneath you.
If this light is coming out of you in every direction and also shining down, he kind of has a point here.
No, he doesn't.
I do understand your concerns. It's definitely concerns that others, more diligent and faithful members, have had originally, but not one that I shared. I am... If sacrificing my shadow means that I am a better husband, father, and neighbor, I think it's a worthwhile outcome.
How come it wasn't something you could figure out on your own? Why did it take magic? What happens if something happens and you go back to normal? You're really gonna blame all of everything on a shadow?
What if you
Sometimes
develop another vice? Now you don't
You
have
get
a
your shadow back?
to sacrifice.
I don't have any desire to develop any other vices.
Do you have any desire to do anything?
Yes, I have the desire to be a good father and husband, neighbor, as I've said.
But again, why was that not there in the first place?
Sometimes a man digs himself so deep that he needs some help getting out.
Okay, so why didn't you talk to a priest? A real priest, not a fake priest.
As I said, I didn't have the desire to. I wasn't a religious man to begin with. It wasn't until that fateful night that I really realized that I needed to change my life. Who was there for me? Priest of Silhana?
You
No.
had to get mind control?
I'm not mind controlled. I gave up my shadow of my own free will.
But you've been forced into being different. And you didn't try to be different beforehand.
You're right. But again, this is my choice to be the way that I am. Why is it so evil of me to be a good person, no matter what may have caused me to be it? Is it better that a man is it better that a man be born good and be good, or that he overcome his good, his evilness to become good, which is truly better? One that I don't think we can say.
Did you truly overcome it?
I think We're talking in circles at this point, and the conversation is not worth continuing. But I may not have overcome it by myself, but I overcame it with help.
Maybe there's someone else that we should ask our so many questions to. Where could we find this brother Mateo?
He'd be in the church not far from here. I'd be happy to show you.
Oh, good. If it wouldn't take you away from dinner time.
Oh, fine. I'm sure my wife would not have a major issue. If I was to leave for just a few minutes. It really isn't that far of a walk.
All right, let's go see Brother Mateo.
Anyone have any,
Wait. So he's the only one that doesn't have a shadow in the house. Does everybody else appear to be normal?
Yeah, everyone else appears to be normal. Otherwise, yep.
How come your family didn't lose their shadows?
My family hasn't actually fully accepted the way of the shadow yet.
The way of the shadow.
I mean, sorry, the way of no shadow.
Homie just said the way of the shadow. You're a bad guy. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Let's cut his head off.
Yeah, nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
What if we started an Inquisition again?
You know, I think, first of all, that would be against what Piotr's new, codes are. And I think that would be against Artyom's original codes, anyway, to kill an innocent person.
What if, instead of actually inquisiting, I just direct the inquisiting?
And I do the inquisiting.
Inquisiting is not a word.
It is now, Patrick.
Inquisit.
Inquisitioning would be the word. Inquiring. Inquiring actually would be the correct word. Inquiring.
It's inquisit. And
we are inquiring right now, so...
No. Inquiring is an inquiry. Inquisiting is when you chop people's heads off.
Yeah, for being scum and villainy.
There we go.
Are you all in accordance to go see Brother Mateo?
Do that, yes, not to start an Inquisition.
Inquisit him, too?
Okay.
Patrick doesn't know what to do with us.
Don't know what to do with you guys. So he begins to walk.
Let us inquisit. Problem solved.
On the way out, I want to ask his wife real quick. Say, hey, just wondering how has it been with him after this change? Has it felt?
It's been
real.
It's been fantastic. I mean, he's been gonna try to show me that inquisiting is a wordy, and is that what you're trying to do?
It's still blurry.
Inquisit,
sure.
Verb to subject to inquisition.
Interesting. Anyway, sorry. Back on track. It's been fantastic. I mean, I used to worry about feeding and clothing our children because I was worried that Vlad would spend the money on either some prostitute or gamble it away. And now, ever since that day, I don't worry about that. And he's home more, attentive, and plays with the children, and he spends time with me.
So why haven't you joined the Order of the Shadows?
No shadows.
No shadows. You get it. The thing with the no shadows.
In truth, I did, but I tried. I mean, I've gone to a few ceremonies, but they don't want my shadow.
Have they said why?
What?
No, they just... my shadow, they haven't wanted to take my shadow. I don't have the darkness in me that my husband used to.
So you're not enough of scum and villainy?
Is that what they said?
Artyom?
No, they just
You will not be inquisited.
We are in their home.
the path of no shadow is supposed to be more of a metaphor than anything. You know, not walking the paths of darkness. They only save the ritual for those who need help to get out of, you know, the fog that covers the path.
Why does removing one's shadow remove that fog?
I'm not an expert.
I don't think. Thank you. But
We'll go harass someone else. But actually, I have a question. Did you expect us?
Yeah,
What?
where we'd had
Did you expect us?
Expect
Like
you?
us to show up today?
Oh, of course
Did you
not.
expect us?
Oh, expect? No, no, I did
That's
not.
right. No one expects the Silhanan Inquisition.
Oh gosh, Ian.
I had to know.
That was
anyway,
good.
shall we away?
No.
All right.
I usher my colleagues out. I'm like, I am so sorry for them. You enjoy your meal tonight, and may Silhana bless you, and just keep doing good.
Till we come inquisit again.
You are out of the house. So that's.
So Vlad leads you down the street to a local chapel. It's not a giant chapel. You know, it's regular sized. You know, chapel. It's not a cathedral or anything like you guys have been normally spending your time in up to this point. But you know, it's a regular sized chapel. You know, steeple on one end. You know, made out of just pretty simple, you know, stone and wood. You go inside, and standing up near the front, near the altar, you see a man in brown robes and a silver mask. Vlad calls out as he leads you all inside. Brother Mateo! The man turns around, and he can't see him smile, as this silver mask covers his entire face, but he approaches you and says, "Ah, Brother Vlad. Good to see you. Who are these that you bring with you?" "Inquirers. Those
We're inquisitors.
They are inquiring about the path of no shadow, and they've been asking me some questions that I'm not quite prepared to answer yet, and I think that you'd be better suited to answer it." "Of course, I'd be more than happy to." Everyone give me notice rolls.
Notice rolls.
Perception checks. Perception checks.
Oh
boy.
Bad things are about to happen.
22.
We have Galena.
Happening. 19.
10. Whopping 10.
13.
Alright, well, if you got a 10 or higher, you notice that Sarah's like, dang, I'm getting rid of all my good rolls early in the night. But if, 10 or higher, you notice that Brother Mateo does have a shadow. And it's weird. You see, like, it's dark enough because, you know, it's dark enough because there's only just a few candles lit. It's dark enough that where Vlad is standing should just be a bit dark area, but where Vlad is standing, it's like the shadows, like, imagine Vlad is standing and there is a lamp, like a candle, a lamp of candles, I don't know what you would call that, standing that would, you know, you wouldn't be able to see, but it's like he's almost see-through because you can see the shadow of the standing candle through him.
And I
That makes
offered
sense?
to shake his hand.
Whose hand?
As,
Brother Mateo.
yeah.
Sure.
As one clergyman to another.
Wait.
But I'm a real clergyman, not a
Magic.
scummy bony.
Yes, Britton.
Wait, do I have like a spidey sense
Give me a
for
second.
weird people?
No, you don't. I mean, you have you have one that you can activate, but not really.
Do you have a Piotr tickle?
Well, no. now
Piotr
that I'm,
is technically Russian for Peter.
That's why.
Hey! Yeah.
Tickle.
Peter? Oh, you haven't watched the Spider-Man movies. Never mind, Ian. Sorry, Braden. What are you going to say?
Wait, okay, just clarifying. So, is it Vlad who looks like transparent see-through, or
so
is it Brother Mateo?
It's not that he's transparent and see-through. It's I'm trying to figure out a good way to describe this. So, okay. Vlad is here. Normally, there would be a shadow behind him. Let's say Brother Mateo is standing here. There is a light source coming from here, so normally both men would cast a shadow. Vlad is not casting a shadow, and you can instead see Brother Mateo's shadow behind Vlad. Like, you know, like it would be long. Like you would just see his head. So, like you see the head of Brother Mateo's shadow, where Vlad's shadow should be. So, like he's not. So Vlad isn't transparent. It's just as if Vlad wasn't there. Brother Mateo is casting a shadow.
Oh, okay. Okay. Weird.
Yeah, it's still whatever you just said.
Illusions.
Okay. I shall accept.
So, yeah. So you want to shake Brother Mateo's?
Oh.
Sorry.
No. Just to say, it's so essentially, it's as if pretend just Vlad's not there. That's what it looks like, but he is there.
But he is there physically, yeah.
With no shadow, but everything else is acting like he doesn't exist in that room.
Yes, exactly.
It's not real Vlad.
Illusion Vlad.
It's Shadow Vlad. That's why he doesn't have a shadow. Real Vlad is in a basement somewhere.
Do we get to fight Shadow Link or Dark Link? That'd be great.
So, you wanted to shake Brother Mateo's hand, Artyom?
Yes.
Okay. So Brother Mateo reaches his hand out, you know, and he shakes your hand. So,
I also didn't realize that he was the solid one. I thought he was the translucent.
Oh, no, sorry. I did not explain that very well the first time around. I knew what I wanted to see, well, how it came across in my head. I just didn't know how to verbalize that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
I should have been quizzited better.
It shakes your hand. So, greetings. Welcome to my humble parish. We are, you know, always pleased to see newcomers. Tell me, are you natives of Adelheim?
Nay, laddie.
How old is this guy?
Can't tell. He sounds to be in his, like, 30s. Maybe, you know, mid-30s. But you can't really tell.
Why can't we tell, Patrick?
Because he has a mask and a hood on.
Oh.
Oh, that's
valid. What? No. How old do his hands look?
How old does he smell?
And like I said, he looks to me in about, like, 30, in his 30s. Dang. I didn't realize you guys were inquisiting me. Yeah. Interrogating me. Dang, but... Yeah, so yeah. He reaches his hand out, you know, shakes it, and then he looks, you know, says, yeah, welcome. I'm always happy to have more visitors to my... So are you natives to Adelheim?
No, we are not.
Oh.
We have just recently arrived, and to be put frankly, we're not expecting the state of Adelheim. We're expecting something much different.
Something more fun.
More.
We came for partying.
Yes.
You did not come for partying.
No, wasn't that our whole cover story? We came for partying.
Well, we did, but we know how you don't like partying.
What? Why would
our
you?
Cover story.
We can't
Why
blow
are we our cover story.
Yes, Adelheim.
That's me to you.
The used to be known as is currently known as the City of Lost Dreams, where people's dreams come to die, where they, you know, in the den of iniquity and sin. But me and my brothers have set about to change that all.
And
not as much fun.
It's definitely changed our plans, that's for sure, and we were just got so much hubbub around here, kind of wanted to find out what was exactly going on and what this path of no shadows means.
I'd be more than happy to teach you about the path of no shadows. But Vlad, I believe your wife, this is about the time she finishes cooking dinner, is it not? That it is, brother. I should probably be on my way. It's good to meet you. I hope maybe we'll see you at church this holy day.
Good to meet you too as well, Vlad. Thank you.
Good to meet you, Vlad.
So
Ominous name.
he leaves, and he's looking around. You know, the priest is looking at you, and he stops and his gaze lingers on Piotr.
Uh-oh.
Such a darkness weighing on your soul.
Oh, you already took care of that.
Yeah. What do you mean, Mateo? Brother Mateo.
Brother Mateo.
Yeah, there we go.
I mean, I can see something in your past that was weighing heavily on you.
Oh, no.
You've come to accept it, but it still blackens your soul.
Many of us carry the scars of lives lived in the past.
That is what the Path of No Shadows is about, is
Oh, no.
changing that, leaving behind who we used to be, the shadow of our true selves, and coming to be who the light intended us to be.
Wait. You don't mind me interrupting.
Of course.
Why is there suddenly a new way to repent of your sins? And how come we haven't heard about it?
We believe that this is the true way. In fact, the rituals that we have had are thousands of years old. But we believe that over time, the way was lost.
This is the way.
Silhana, Silhana sleeps. The light sleeps. And because the light sleeps, she wasn't able to guide us. And now, we've uncovered these rituals, and we believe that we are on the true path.
Okay, so I'm not running around with my eyes wrapped anymore, right?
Yeah.
You know that I talk with the saints, right?
Of course. As do we.
Which saint?
All of them.
Well, why don't we have a meeting with all of them?
Yeah!
Saints.
Corbett, you and me, let's ask to chat with the saints.
The saints don't
I know that... Wait, I can't remember his name. I always want to call him Villain. I know that
Violin.
Violin loves when I ask him to just randomly come chat with me. It's his favorite thing. That's why he never does it.
I mean, yes, I understand your thoughts and your concerns, but I assure you that the texts that we read from are ancient. I'd be happy to show you. I have a copy of one. I have one of the originals.
But if you love to chat, if you chat with the saints on a regular basis,
I personally
ask them
don't.
to come and talk with us.
I personally don't chat with the saints.
Oh, we do.
Of course. I mean,
Why don't you? I've
but
heard
this-
they're great people.
Saints have a different purpose of guiding you as dragon touched than they do with us. They're supposed to guide your life. They aren't supposed to necessarily. You aren't the voices of change in the church. You just are tools in this world and they guide you and make sure that you are
I just got
on
called
the
a tool.
you're on the you're on the correct path. And that would be why you've been led to me, to show you that this is the way. This is the path that Silhana intends us to walk.
I'm so glad it's the day after May the 4th.
Me too.
Galina, have you... I'm trying to remember back to see if I've studied or heard of anything like this in all my kind of growing up in the monastery. Galina, have you heard of anything like this happening before? Or heard of any of these... The way of... The light, the way of no shadow?
Well, not this particular path, but different cults and religions pop up all the time.
She called you a cult.
Anything like this where people are like, I don't want to be able to be seen in sunlight or something.
Let's have
Well-
our little anime sidebar right in front of us.
Mr. Vlad did seem very happy. In fact, all the people without their shadows seem extremely happy. I would be interested in looking at that text if I could.
Of course, certainly.
Although his wife said that you weren't interested in her shadow, I guess because it wasn't dark enough, so not everybody's shadows, not everyone needs to
For the most
relinquish their shadows.
For the most part, the path of no shadows is intended to be a metaphor. It's intended to be a, for most people, it's intended to be a way to, to live their life. Eschewing the iniquities and the darkness of the world. But there are some people who dug themselves so deep. You heard Vlad's story, correct? He was
Yes.
a compulsive gambler, cheating on his wife, being out at all hours, drinking, wasting his money. Was there any way for such a man to crawl out of the darkness other than, without help? The hole so
Doesn't seem
deep.
like it, no. Actually, it seems like it was a very good thing for him. We have heard, however, that some of the people without shadows are very vigorous in their beliefs and burn down brothels and taverns. That, however, doesn't seem very good.
Oh, that would be a misunderstanding. The places that have been burned down were burnt down by the owners when they had converted to the path of no shadow.
Oh.
So the prancing pony, the owner there, is no longer
That is correct.
with. Never mind.
He's no longer. He did.
no longer with us.
He dead. No, he's not dead. He is he's a member of our order of our path. He doesn't attend this particular church, but he is a member of our path.
Let's see.
Interesting. So Vlad said that when he went through the ritual, that you put his shadow in an urn. What happens to it then?
That is a very sacred part of our path. I'm not sure that I can trust you all with such knowledge.
Well, I'm a priest of Silhana. You can trust me.
But you're a priest.
I've been through the monasteries and the training, and I have the deepest and utmost respect and understanding of the sacred.
Give me a persuasion check.
And I have dedicated my life, rededicated my life to the service of Silhana.
I got a
I
17.
have no other choice.
We send them to the High Father.
The what?
Oh, you would know him as the Patriarch.
You say the High Bother?
High Father.
But why does the
Oh,
patriarch want a bunch of shadows?
I mean, again, we take these shadows to help our brothers and sisters out of there.
Well, I get that, but like, couldn't you just cast them into a herd of swine or something? Like, why do you keep them around?
We could not risk we cannot risk them getting broken. They need to be carefully taken care of, so that way the shadows not return to their masters. And then, and the master has to be overwhelmed by their vices and their dark desires again.
So take Piotr's shadow.
Oh. Hey, you just volunteer your own shadow.
I'd be happy to. I mean, if you attended tomorrow, I'd be happy to be able to see the ritual.
Oh.
That sounds terrifying. Wait,
performed on who?
And we have, we perform it on any, who are willing, if one of you so decided. And the only one that I see here who truly is in need of it would be you. He looks at Piotr, would be you.
Alright, sidebar.
Anime sidebar. Ready, go.
Ian really wants this to happen.
Sounds bad.
But there's no way Piotr would be like, sounds cool.
Probably not.
Doesn't it suck when the voices inside your head are like, "Don't you dare do that for me"?
When your character's voice is like, you know what I do, and it's not that.
But I'm like, but I want to torment you for my own amusement and enrichment.
I made you.
Yeah, I made you. Shut up and take it.
I do have some preparations for tomorrow.
Wait, my question never got answered.
What was your question?
Why do you send the shadows to the patriarch, and why is he now called Odin?
Odin is the All-Father, not the High-Father. But no, I mean, yes, you may have missed it, but they must be carefully guarded and watched over, lest they break and then the shadows return to their masters and they be overcome by their vices and lustful desires yet again.
So why don't you send them over to Ostrava and to where I don't remember what what the guards are called here. I know in the other world they're called storm wardens.
And we don't have anything like the storm wardens in this world.
Oh, well, I'll take it. I'm dragon touched. The
Silhanan Church doesn't fully recognize this yet. We're very lucky that the High Father Borisov has recognized us, and as such become the leader of the path. One day we hope to spread throughout the entirety of the Holy Empire.
They say in Warhammer, is it Purge the Heretic?
Yep, Purge the Heretic. That is what they say in Warhammer. I
would like to speak with the High Father. Where can I find him?
Well, he would be in the Adelheim Cathedral.
Very well.
Towards the center of the city.
You don't think that he would deny an honored guest like a, I don't know, where do I fall in, the rankings, hierarchies of the religious order?
Very low. I mean, because you're dragon touch, yeah, so kind of higher. But when it comes to your ranking in the church, you're still like a lay clergyman. You don't have. I mean, particularly since you don't technically have a parish that you're assigned to. Still just
Sorry, I keep talking over you because my Discord has you stopping, so I keep talking over you. Can I flex my Chosen of the Dawn status? Certain he would have heard of that.
You can certainly try and see if he still respects it.
And then if not, we purge the heretic.
Nobody disrespects the Spanish Inquisition.
That's not actually how Artyom is, but I've been on a Warhammer 40k, and so it's burn them all.
I see. Well, maybe he'll welcome a friendly visit from a visitor of the Southern Isles. So,
sure, you're always welcome to see if he has an appointment available.
Thank you very much.
Wait a second.
And what time is the service tomorrow? Should we be interested in joining?
All our services start at noon. All our services start at noon when the sun is highest.
Okay. Thank you very much. And on our way out, is there any other, I don't know if we're leaving yet, but is there any other brothers or any other just clergymen around? Is it just Brother Mateo in this chapel?
Yep.
Okay. Well,
I'm a clergyman.
Easy. Yes, you are. Not what I was looking for.
I have my shadow.
Okay. Well, thank you. You've been very helpful, and may you have a good day.
You too.
Oh, for some reason I interpreted that as hey, you two, come here.
On our way out. Wait.
Smells suspiciousness.
Well, it's all suspicious because this is where the next sacrifice is going to happen.
So
and I'm saying this once we're out of the church. I'm not saying about this at all inside.
Yeah. Why are we sacrificing shadows? What kind of importance does a shadow have? Besides Morpheus being a shadow dragon.
And it's not Morpheus that we care about right now.
Isn't that who we're trying to... That's why we're trying to stop the whole thing.
It's Ukstav we're stopping.
Boy, you guys have a lot to fill me in.
We did have this conversation before last session, but I understand it's been a while.
Well, you know, you and I talked about a lot of things before last session.
So I just wonder, like, does Artyom canonically know? Like, did
he would canonically know. So yeah, I'll catch you up.
Silhana's chosen. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Silhana's chosen. They knew.
Yeah. So
about this.
Yeah, you're not actually here to stop Morpheus. There's a Skrull, a powerful Skrull known as Ukstav, who is been.
We're stopping Cthulhu.
Yeah, basically, he's trying to stop my multiverse version, one of my multiverse versions of an old god from getting resurrected and turning the entire world into its personal feeding cattle ground.
Yeah, so that's what we're stopping. Even better than Morpheus, right?
So in that line of thinking, why do you think that maybe Ukstav would want the shadows?
I don't know. Let's ask our resident genius.
I hope you're not talking about Piotr.
Yes, about Galena. You noticed Sarah kind of perked up when I said our resident genius. She knew what I was talking about. She's like, I'm the only one who fits that description.
Galena's welcome to give me an Arcana check or a Religion check to see if perhaps she can come up with a conclusion to some conclusion.
Why are shadows important in any kind of spell or magical capability?
15.
It would. They'd have to be deriving some energy or something from it.
So you know that everything else with all the other sacrifices has been to bring back an aspect of Morpheus. So for example, the sacrifice in Pelagrod was the sacrifice of breath. So you're bringing breath back to Morpheus. In Cordovan, sacrifice of sight. So sight, ability to see. Sacrifice of bone in Norgarn. And then the sacrifice of flesh, most recently in Vinhelm. So your guess is maybe, your only guess would be that sacrifice of shadow would be to bring back a personality. Bring back that particular aspect of Ukstav. Ukstav being a being of unfathomable darkness.
Oh no. I think we messed up. We should have let every sacrifice except for the sacrifice of shadow happen, and then Ukstav would come back, but he wouldn't be dark and evil, and he'd be a happy, fun god.
That is not necessarily how that would exactly work, because you're sure that a lot of this is more symbolic than anything. But
so this time we're not fighting we're fighting a skeleton monster is what's going to happen, because they don't got the flesh. So.
You'll see.
I don't know.
It's not all intended to be taken super literally, but it's basically aspects that these things are all aspects that are important to the revival of a creature, important to a creature. So while you imagine that he needs these things, he doesn't necessarily need these things because he's an old god and unfathomable, that kind of stuff.
5 fathom, about 6.
But I mean, it could again also remember that all of this is about the thing that the Dark Priestess told you is that it's about the souls. Souls are an extremely powerful source of energy and very hard to harvest purely. All of these aspects of different things are different aspects of souls. The Silhanian Church teaches simply that the soul is not just, the spirit. Spirit and soul are not synonymous. The soul is a union of spirit and body. And so all these different aspects, flesh, bone, breath, everything is probably to help, harvest as much of the soul they can to eventually create the equivalent of the power of a whole soul.
Is it a dark one?
No, it's an Elden one.
So it's a ring.
Yeah.
A ring of power.
Ring of power.
We have to take to Mordor.
But
Let's just fly the eagles there and forget the whole hard trip and everything.
Right? Why we gotta do it the hard way?
okay, so sorry. Now, what are you all doing now? It is getting late, so you could go find somewhere to rest. You could go see if the patriarch is available.
Well, he has to be. We've brought a chosen of Silhana and a noble person, so he has to make room for us, or it would be politically
Rude.
detrimental to him, especially when he's trying to get his newfangled way of thinking accepted, and by disrespecting
Again, I
one of
would
the
iterate.
Hold up. And by disrespecting one of the men on the matriarch's own personal hit squad, there's no way that he's gonna be able to make it past the House of the Senate.
Again, I mean, you're welcome to go see if he's available, but it is nighttime. It is getting late.
Oh, perfect. So he can invite us in for evening tea
Yes. Or some toast.
and crumpets.
So you're all going to go see if the patriarch's awake?
Yes,
yeah,
I
it's
want crumpets.
Inquisition time.
Okay. So
Ian wants to include it. I want crumpets.
So you make your way to the center.
Personal hit squad.
You make your way to the center of Vadelheim, where you find the cathedral. You walk in and you see. It's really weird to you. It's almost like the cathedral is divided in half. One half you have, you see brothers in the brown robes and the silver masks. The other you see more traditional, priests of the church, and they're kind of sitting there talking. As you walk in, someone approaches you. It's like a race between two of each party running up to get to you. But a member of the Path of No Shadows gets to you first. Welcome to the cathedral. I am Brother Philippe. How can I help you today?
We come to seek the patriarch.
Oh, I'm afraid that it is rather late, and the patriarch has retired for the day. You are welcome to return tomorrow.
No. You see, this is my friend, the noble. I don't know what rank he actually has, so insert important rank here.
Son, I mean, at this point, he's the brother of the boyar.
Hey, that's actually true. I'm the brother of the boyar now.
The brother of the boyar of the Southern
Aren't
Isles.
you the brother-in-law of the prince?
That's
I am
true.
also the brother-in-law of the prince. Yes, I am.
See, this is
So,
the brother-in-law of the prince.
Brother of a boyar.
Be that as it
Sorry.
may,
Yeah.
it is late.
But we have made such a long trip, and
We
seek
will.
his wisdom and his guidance.
Yes, of course.
We've come all the way from the Southern Isles.
He would be happy to provide it, but it is late. He has
But we've
retired for the
heard-
night.
We've heard of this new way,
And
and we must know of this way, but we must chat with him.
any of
We
our
can't chat with anyone else.
brothers would be happy to teach you about the way, but it is late, and the patriarch does need his rest.
No, but
The
you
High
see,
Father would be happy to speak with you tomorrow.
But we have to talk to him straight from him. I am one of the chosen of the dawn, and I report directly to the matriarch. She has asked that I speak directly to the patriarch, along with the accompaniment of Corvette and our entourage.
I'd be happy to let you speak to the patriarch, but tomorrow. Early, you must
Thank you.
beware
I
of-
will be like. I will say that. I'll let you guys handle it.
Wait. You would deny our request for the matriarch herself?
No, but surely the matriarch would understand that you must rest from your long journey. That the High Father must rest as well from ministering.
It cannot wait. If this is the way, we must learn the way, so we can take it back. There is corruption in Ostrava that she's trying to purge, and you would dare deny your brothers and sisters of Ostrava from the salvation that you have brought to Edelheim? This is not the way.
We would not deny them. Of course not.
You're denying them right now.
Not denying them right now. I'm just saying, come back tomorrow.
What if a meteorite hits us and we all die, and so we can't do it tomorrow?
I don't even get a persuasion check.
I mean, just think about it a little bit logically. You know, your logic makes perfect sense, so I'm not denying you your logic. I'm just saying, it is late. To recall what happened, the events of last time. You arrived at Svarim. Svarim is about half a day's journey away. You came all the way here. It's probably getting close to like 10, 11 at night. It's very late.
That's when fiendish people do fiendish things.
Would not... I mean, yes, you are correct. But... So, your logic makes sense. He already said his name was Brother Philippe.
Okay, well, it's hard for me to remember names.
What's with all these non-Russian people?
You can ask them why their names are not traditional.
Yeah, why are you not Russian?
I didn't know. I don't know why I didn't just like put that out of my mouth in character. Hello, Philippe.
Why is your name Philippe?
Where does that name come from?
When we take upon ourselves the, vestments of the priesthood of the path, we eschew our old names and take upon ourselves new names. We call High Father Borisov because no one else would recognize him, but in actuality, his real name is High Father Karlamon.
What? Karlamon?
Karlamon. That is his new name.
Fascinating.
Karlamon.
But wait,
okay.
Why are you... Strange names is all I'm saying.
Thank you, and we will be back to see the patriarch.
We will let the matriarch know of your unwillingness.
We'll be back.
It shall not be forgotten so easily.
I would expect it to not be.
And the patriarch will hear this.
I assure you that he will. He will know. He will be waiting for you tomorrow after services.
No, before services. It's urgent that we speak with him.
We must perform our services first.
At like 8 in the morning?
We perform services at noon, citywide.
So, wait, why do we have to wait all the way till noon before we can chat with him? What is he doing in the beginning of the day?
He has to prepare for services and administer services. He'll be unavailable to meet before then. I don't understand what's bumping you here. He's a priest. He's a high-ranking priest. He's still got a priest. You gotta do priesty stuff.
I feel like we're disregarding me and Braden's stature a little too easily, a little too out of hand here, but okay.
I am going to go over to the traditional side of the chapel and I want to find a priest that just looks a little kind of tired and just unguarded. Vulnerable.
Not necessarily vulnerable. They all look very tired, but they all look on high alert. And they are all eyeing you all very suspiciously.
In that case, I will want to go over to one of them. Just that doesn't look angry to see me, and whisper, Can we ask what's going on here?
Not here.
Who's in charge?
Not
Who's
here.
in charge of this side?
We can't. No, not here. We can't talk here.
Who? Where? When?
Here. He
What?
slips you a small piece of paper. All the instructions there. Someone will meet you.
Thank you. Stay strong, brother.
May Silhana guide your steps.
And yours. And I leave and come back to my colleagues, slipping the piece of paper in my pocket. Leaving my hand in there, keeping it safe.
Okay. Anything else you guys want to do in the cathedral?
Did we see him slip the piece of paper in his pocket? Did we see this exchange?
Give me a perception check.
Sleight of hand against my sleight of hand, huh?
Were you trying to hide it from me?
Not from you guys, but from everyone else. I mean, I guess I was just trying to. As soon as I got it, I didn't even look.
Nah, but it makes sense that you wouldn't be able to
Like I didn't look at it at all. I just put it in my pocket, just instantly.
I perceive nothing.
Per usual.
Hold on. 12.
What's your sleight of hand check, Braden?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's lower. So close. 10.
So yeah, you noticed this exchange happened, Piotr.
What happened over there?
Not here. As I only say that if the other priest isn't nearby.
Yeah, he's left at this point, kind of let you.
Not here, and I just walk out of the cathedral. I don't stick around.
Okay. Piotr
And
will
then-
follow.
Okay. Everyone else, you good? Kalia and Artyom?
Venya's not going to do anything, but she's staying close by Artyom's side because she's wondering why he seems to be flipping out so hard.
Because it's wrong.
She doesn't know you very well, so she doesn't know that.
Alright. So when you get outside, Corvette, you take a look at the paper in your hands, and it gives you instructions to, as you follow, basically turns. You follow them, and eventually you find yourself in this this park. There's a big tree, and it's a very small park, probably, what would be at most a block. So a big tree, grass along the edges, paths that, circle around the tree and go out. You go there and you wait a minute, and after a few minutes, a priest walks out. Are you with them? You have shadows. Hold torches over each of you. I want to see your shadows.
Does anybody have a torch? Do you have a torch? Why don't you just hold a torch out at me?
He holds his torch out. Sees you have shadows. Alright. Good. It's alright. You just don't know who you can trust these days.
Wait,
Even
do you have a shadow?
Yeah.
holds it over and you see his shadow. Yes, Braden.
My internet went out for about a couple minutes, so I left the cathedral to wait outside. I don't know what happened next.
Oh, you followed the directions in the paper given to you to this kind of like park area, and a priest is asking to see your shadows.
Okay,
You don't know,
perfect.
You don't know who you can trust. Even some of those people with the silver masks, they have shadows. You don't know who you can trust.
I understand. Can you tell us your name?
No, for my own safety, I can't.
Okay.
Who are you? You don't need to tell me names or anything. Just why are you here?
Well, I think
To
we've
stop the shenanigans.
figured out what's
I'm-
going on.
Yeah, I'm one of the chosen of Silhana, and we were ambushed a few weeks ago at this point. And
Huh?
I've been searching for my compatriots, kind of sent here to deal with these kind of problems.
Yes, I remember you. You were here with the tiefling, the elf, and the really angry gnome.
They have a really angry
You dropped by the cathedral for some supplies. I remember you.
Yep.
We can trust you.
I'm usually, yeah.
It's crazy, everything that's been going on. Since those no shadow people showed up. First, we just thought they were another cult, crazy, just fringe group. They've gained such a following so fast. It's just,
Yes.
even the patriarch. Except, I don't think it's actually the patriarch.
Does he have a shadow?
He is not. Not because, and he claims it's not because he was so dark and evil that he needed to purge his corruption. He says it's because to be an example to his followers, his shadow's been removed. There's a thing about Patriarch Borisov, though. I grew up with him. We attended seminary together. He ascended to the patriarchy, but I was content to remain as a low-level bishop. No, he's Borisov injured himself when we were young. He broke his leg. Since that time, he walked with a limp. However, since he went away and came back, he has not had a limp. It's impossible to tell, of course, because they're wearing those masks all the time, but I swear that he is, that whoever this High Father Karlamon is not Patriarch Borisov.
Probably not.
You mentioned the patriarch went away. Do you know where he went or what he was leaving for?
Oh, he went to go investigate the cult a little bit, along with a few of winged ones. When he returned, his winged ones no longer wore their wings, and he was silver masked. Sounds like Borisov, but that limp, I swear it's not him.
Where did he go to find out more about this cult at the time?
The cult originated in a village not too far from here. Somewhere, a village known as Valbeck. So he went there.
Oh, okay. And do you know what they do with the Urn of Shadows? The Urns of Shadows? Where they're held?
They ship them here to the cathedral. Then afterwards, they take them to Valbeck.
Well then.
Thank you.
Of course.
What direction is Valbeck?
Valbeck is
Can you point us in the right way, please?
half a day's ride north.
Okay. Finally, for my friend here, I gesture to Artyom for his companions. Have you heard any news, or do you know of anywhere that potentially this group might take prisoners? Or
I mean, if I had to guess, they'd probably also be in Valbeck. What's everything important. Just see, that's where they seem to take care of all the important things. The High Father heads out there at least once or twice a week.
Thank you.
Seems suspicious.
Please, you must help us restore things the way they were. I know that Adelheim was not perfect, but it's better that man learns to overcome their weakness than have it, taken away for them.
Yeah, that's what I said.
This is not the way of Silhana. It doesn't feel right. It feels unnatural.
That's also pretty much what I said.
I will say, you priests have a way of being a little aggressive about it, though, sometimes.
Largely just me.
Largely just Artyom, but I don't know how aggressive this priest here, this bishop, has been, but yes.
He probably actually paid attention and wasn't an orphan on the streets.
Please, if there's nothing else I can do for you, we should part ways. We can't be seen.
Can you tell us where there's a good inn to sleep in?
Yes, it's around the corner. In fact, you'll find it in the Roaring Dragon.
Do people have shadows there?
Some do, some don't. You can't go anywhere in the city. They don't serve alcohol anymore.
It's a shame.
Probably.
Hmm?
I said probably. Never actually drank alcohol, so I don't know. Artyom has, probably, but I have not.
Right, with that, he turns.
Is it?
Oh, go ahead, Ian.
Is it safe that? Well, I'm sure it's relatively safe. We're fine. Let's go.
Is it safe to let this homie go, or should we
nothing we
drag him
do-
with us the whole time?
No, let him
Is he
go.
gonna turn up dead now that he's chatted with us?
I'm sure if he was found entering an inn with us, that would be an even larger target on his back. Probably.
Yes.
He
Good
shuffles.
luck, and may Silhana guide you.
You too. And he shuffles off into the shadows. A weird thing for a priest of Silhana to do.
Well, we know where to go. Where to look now. But it has been a long day, and I want to be ready.
Of course. Well,
Is there any? What do they sell here? Like, you said there's not much open, or not as much open. Is there anything like
at 11 at night,
magic?
nothing.
Oh, 11. For shame, I'd expect
There's
it.
not even food.
I mean, you can go to the inn, to get food.
Oh,
Definitely do that. So,
Well, most inns in the world would not be open till this late. That's one thing that Adelheim has not changed, is that the inns are still open really, really late, and there's people cooking all hours of the day, and you can get a room at any time of night. So, you go around the corner where the priest showed you, and you find the Roaring Dragon, and you find that the innkeeper does not have any shadows. However, because he doesn't have a shadow, he insists that you do not pay for your room or your meal.
there's some perks here.
Because he's just so nice. We're about to get cannibalized.
Okay, so before you go to bed, is there anything? A jack in the chest. That's a good one, Eric. Jack in the chest.
ambush.
Anything that you want to do before you go to sleep?
There you go, Ghost. The pattern is full.
Just actually, yeah. Right before I go to sleep, I want to just send again, try and communicate to Bronislav, pray or kneel, just concentrate, and just be like, ask him, just making sure. All you saints, you guys haven't been like talking to this weird cult, right? Just making sure. And I'm just hoping to feel something or hear something. I'm like, hey, I don't expect much. Just
Yep. You very much get the sense that no, this is not an approved, not a saint approved thing. This is not how it was intended.
I feel that, and I literally just like
thumbs up.
thought so, but just making sure. Thanks. So it's just kind of a cool. Thanks, Bratislav.
All right. In that case, you all go to sleep, and we will be back. We're going to take our mid-session break. We will be back in about 5 minutes, so don't go anywhere. We will see what happens next. Thank you all for coming. We'll see you in a bit. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the remainder ready to roll. We are going to pick up right where we left off. You all were going to bed. Galena, you're going to sleep. I need a Constitution saving throw from you.
Oh no, I forgot about this. Her illness.
Dying.
No, Galena, don't die.
You got 23 though.
Very nice. You suffer no ill effects this evening.
You're a wizard. What's your Constitution modifier?
+3.
You're way stronger than I am.
My strength isn't though. It's -1.
Oh, that's strength. Yeah, that's fair.
All right. You all. Alright, you all wake up the next morning. Nothing crazy or exciting happens in the night. It is a holy day, so you have received a few invites. You obviously you could go to any of the
Where we're going after.
Wait, did we watch the ritual?
Ritual.
Ritual. No, nightly planning must be followed strictly.
Then you go to bed right afterwards. No, we gotta go to the ritual because if there's scummy villainousness, we have to put a stop to it.
Yeah, that's why we're here.
Maybe between Galena, she can watch it and figure out how it works.
So our plan is to go to a ritual at noon. And from what I believe, they're holding these all over the city in different churches and chapels. And we're going to put a stop to one and out ourselves as against this whole plan of theirs before we make our way to the village and break the urns holding all the shadows?
No, let's do just the village. Because that's where... I don't know, I think that's where it's all...
So my understanding
from.
My understanding, and Ian and Adam can correct me, is they wanted to just watch the ritual to observe it. They weren't going to necessarily put a stop to it unless it seemed super sketch.
Wait, well, this is actually Galena in character asking Artyom what the plan is.
Okay. All right, then, Artyom.
Oh. No. I mean, I don't know. I maybe interrupting this ritual would kill the people being deshadowtized.
Okay, well,
unshadowed.
I noticed yesterday you feel very strongly about this, so I want to make sure of the plan before I just randomly start throwing magic out there in the middle of a important ceremony.
And they're also innocent people here, or people being fooled, tricked
do.
into this.
Yeah,
So
that's my big concern with the with what's going on. It's making a mockery of what people are actually taught, and it's the easy way out of the things that you're struggling with. There's no real just magic solution to, for example, to Vlad's issues. Once we go and put a
But
stop to this.
this is the magic issue to his issues.
Well,
I mean,
right.
this is the magic solution to his problems.
Kind of, because once his shadow energy is all sacrificed to
Ukstav.
Cthulhu, he's it's not likely that he'll remain and he'll be him. And what happens when he just continues to get more and more and more?
Galena's not against stopping Ukstav, though. So she's not against that. She's just stating it's a magic way to change a person's personality.
My big concern is that, once his like I said, once his shadow is fed to Ukstav so he can come down and reign in terror, it's not going to matter, because Vlad's not going to be around, whether his wife and his family are around or not. And then if we go stop this and figure out the safe and correct way to return his shadow to him, it's just going to make his return to his family all the more difficult, because he didn't do the right way to start with. He didn't. What was all that about? Like, it wasn't a priest of Silhana who helped me. We don't force ourselves on anybody who doesn't want our help. You can't. You can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And so it was always there if he wanted it, but he didn't want it, and now it's largely been forced upon him. And I don't know, it's not right, and it's going to destroy his family once we put things back to where they are. And unfortunately, we can't just tell people that there's a giant monster that wants to eat the world, which is why giving up your shadow is bad. 1, they won't believe us. 2, they probably know and will kill us. And 3, they won't believe us.
Well, it seems to be helping Vlad and his family, so if it weren't for the fact that it's going to be used in a ritual to bring back an old god who wants to eat the world, I would probably just say we should leave his shadow in the urn.
I mean, yes, if there weren't negative consequences to leaving his shadow in the urn, fine.
What
But
are the negative consequences?
Gonna bring back an old god who wants to eat all the people.
Yeah. It's old god summoning fuel.
Like an energy drink for the divine.
Yeah, so and that's honestly, from a non-religious standpoint, that's my biggest concern, is if we're able to save him, we're able to save the world, I guess, by returning his shadow to him, then he hasn't done any of the work needed to restore his restore his family to the way that he wants it to be, and the way that his wife wants it to be. And once he gets his shadow back, he'll have all of that hard work ahead of him, and his wife and his kids will be used to Vlad the dad and not Vlad the dunce.
Vlad the dad.
Okay, so
man.
At noon, we're gonna go to a ceremony and just observe to try and see if we can tell what it is they're doing.
Yes,
Yeah.
observe only.
Unless it looks like there shall be death of innocent people. Then we smash.
I don't. Yes, but I don't think that's what's happening. I mean,
Mostly, they seem to just come out shadowless and happy.
and they could be illusions. So maybe they are disappearing into the urn, and they're just an illusion of a solid illusion. I don't know.
Are you able to like imbue yourself with a true sight?
Doesn't
No.
sound familiar. I can detect magic, though.
Please do that while
I
it's
can do
going
that
on.
too. Well, there will
Artyom,
definitely be
we've
magic.
had you for so long, I forgot you can do that.
Well, the thing is, like,
Galena has learned it specifically because we couldn't do that before.
well, we'll be able to detect magic. Magic will be there, but the thing about true sight is, what if they fall through an illusory hole in the ground, and what's standing above is mimics?
Mimics aren't real. They're all ghosts.
Shapeshifters.
Wouldn't the mimics try to eat people, though?
Mimics.
The only
probably wasn't-
mimics I've been around have tried to eat.
Yeah,
me.
I heard about your boat mimic.
It's a ghost ship. That's
Theory
what it was.
question. Could there be a mimic so large and so intricate that it appeared as if it were like a thriving city?
That'd be scary.
It's technically possible, yes.
Go watch Critical Role Campaign 2.
It's technically possible. Is there one in this world? No. But it is theoretically possible, yeah.
That's
No,
terrifying.
or we don't know because it's a freaking mimic. It's like the Matrix.
Magic world. You just asked the god, like, does this exist? And he said no. And your response was, are you sure?
Alright, let's go to... Which one? Do you want to go to see
Putting us,
the Patriarch Chapel
No.
one?
we
Or
have to do
ritual?
that after the ritual because he said we couldn't do it after the ritual.
Well,
He
he's
doesn't
probably
like it.
doing the ritual in the chapel, in the cathedral. We could probably watch him do it himself.
We got specifically invited to flats.
Alright.
And then,
Cool.
after the fact, we're supposed to go to that one place. What's the name of the village?
Volbeck.
Volbeck. And then, find the Patriarch. Either return him to himself, or slay the imposter and find the real Patriarch, and free everybody's shadows. So,
Cool.
the important part, Glenn, is to figure out how the ritual works so you can reverse it. And then the rest
Okay.
of us will keep you alive.
I thought we'd
Cool.
just go to the village and smash all the urns, but I will try to pay attention to the ritual first.
But urn
Yes.
smashing might kill people, and that's what I'm worried about.
And we'll open the lids and try to, I don't know, dump the shadows
Gingerly pour the shadow out.
Pokes it out with little bits of tidbits of food. Offer it some
Like-
snacks.
Come here, come here.
Fruit snacks.
Root snacks. Goldfish.
Do you guys think we're gonna need a lot of thread and needle to sew everyone's shadow back on?
I'm gonna use the soap I have in my bag.
I'm
Got that
missing
reference. I understood that
Right.
reference. The Peter
Um,
Pan reference.
something.
yes. Yep. Let's all right, let's go to Brother Mateo's. We were invited specifically there, and go from there.
I can't believe Adam doesn't know Peter Pan, you uncultured swine.
You're old.
Hey, we're both.
Ooh,
Peter Pan is my favorite.
Ouch.
Sorry, Sarah.
Anyway,
Sarah, you have kids. Doesn't matter how old you are, they could have gone and watched it recently.
No comment.
No comment.
Quick, someone offer me a ladder to get out of the hole. I just
Anyway, but moving on, so Adam can eventually find his way out of that hole.
boot out of my stomach.
Yep.
Mom's gonna pick you up and drag you out of the hole.
You make your way to Brother Mateo's, chapel. Make your way inside, and it is packed. Like, you barely make it in time to sit yourselves down in like a back pew.
Wait,
with just
you were
enough room for
invited. I
yourselves.
demand to be in front.
Don't
I want to
be
go find
rude
Brother
about
Mateo.
it.
I want to go find Brother Mateo and be like,
You-
hey, we've come. Can you give us a good front row seat to the show?
Give me a persuasion check.
We were
At the back,
invited.
you can watch everyone.
I didn't say it would be a hard persuasion check. I said give me a persuasion check. Just because I asked you for a persuasion check doesn't mean it's hard.
Hospitable of him. I got an 18.
Okay, so he does make room for you in the front pew, and you are able to sit as close to the ritual as possible.
Suck it, NPC.
I would like to watch from the back, though, so I can watch everybody and the reactions on what's going on. So,
Right.
I'll stay back.
No, you should turn into Angel Corvette and just hover above everything.
No. So you
During the...
It's wildly unnecessary.
extremely unnecessary. So you go. So looking around the crowd, you see a variety. People with shadows, people without shadows. You see, men, women, even some children without shadows. It's kind of crazy, but it seems to be about 50-50 split. Some have a lot of shadows, some don't. You're at there are a group of people at the front who you would say have been through a rough time recently. Their clothes are extremely ragged. They have bags in their eyes. They look like they look like they've been through the ringer. You see, Vlad is sitting in one of the pews with his family. He has his arm. If you've ever been to church, imagine all of us here have been to church, but for our audience, if you've ever been to a church, the dad who sits arms across the back of the pew, wife and then kids, and has his hand ready to smack a kid. Obviously Vlad wouldn't because he doesn't have a shadow, but he's ready to smack a kid in the back of the head, and if they start getting too fidgety and noisy, that kind of style, just sitting and waiting. But it looks they're wearing their Sunday best, and Brother Mateo goes to get it started, and he looks at everyone. Greetings, brothers and sisters. We are gathered here today for
Holy matrimony.
we gathered here today in the path of no shadows to continue our journey down the way. To begin the day, we begin the day. We shall recite our rituals. In the morn, I shall say a prayer to the light. I shall hold high, and as he's speaking, he does it. He holds high a book. I will hold high the holy book, that the sun might bless it. I shall reflect on the glory of the light as it conquers the dark. At noontide, I shall sing a hymn of praise to the light. I shall raise my hands to the sun, and I shall rejoice at the dominance of the light. And as dusk sets this evening, I will recite the tenets of faith. I will hold my children so they can see the sun, and I shall mourn as I watch the sun give way to the onslaught of darkness. This is the old way that the Silhanan Church would have you believe. That there is no light without darkness. But we see it around us every day. The darkness exists because there is light. Not enough of it. The Silhanan Church would teach you that we live in a vicious cycle, where man will commit mistakes, fall to the darkness, and must find their way out. The path of no shadows offers a different way. A way in which we can walk in the light always. If each and every one of us lives in such a manner that we illuminate the world around us, there will be no room for darkness in our hearts, or iniquity in our minds.
Okay, Satan.
But there are those among us who have fallen too deep, who need help to crawl out of the darkness of which that they have found themselves in. He reaches beneath the altar and he pulls out this urn. It's a plain, simple clay urn, but it has inscriptions written along the side. It's a, you can make out vague words, if you speak Draconic. Vague words that say,
Ooh. Can I see it from the back?
Oh, you can't see it from the back, so you can't do this. Galena, do you speak Draconic? You do not. Yoter, you don't speak anything, so. See, you're mute. You don't speak anything. You don't speak anything.
I speak a lot. I speak Dwarven and Norsean.
It's fair. That's 2 things. It's not a lot.
And common.
And common. It'd be a lot in this day and age, but in D&D, that's not a lot. Almost everyone speaks a second language in D&D.
He speaks 3.
He does. Anyway.
5, just not Draconic.
Just not Draconic. There you go. So it says some things that you can't read, and you cannot read because you're in the back, Corvette. He looks. Brothers and sisters, are there any among us today who desire help leaving behind the addictions and desires of their past so that they may be free once more? Kind of silence for a little bit, the awkward silence for like when the teacher calls for someone to read in class. And
is he gonna call on someone?
Eventually, a frail old man raises his hands. Ah. Yes, step forward. The man stands up and walks up to the altar with Brother Mateo. Mateo puts his hands on his shoulders and looks at you out in the crowd. For those of you unaware, this is Nikolai. He is a grandfather and father. Nikolai has had many issues in his life. He likes to drink. When he drinks, he gets angry and full of rage. And he takes this rage out on others. Most specifically, those closest to him, his family. This is a behavior that we cannot condone. But in the old regime, it was a behavior that was all too common here in Adelheim.
Got attacked.
And the church would have preached to you. It's their choice. We cannot force a man to walk the path of light, but I am here to show you today that after this event, our friend Nikolai will no longer no longer feel the temptation to walk in shadows. Nikolai, kneel before the altar. Nikolai does. Brother Mateo takes the lid of the urn off, and he begins chanting in Draconic.
I can hear it, right?
You can hear it, so yeah, you can understand it. So Corvette, you hear that it's, you know, basically, he is saying, you know, along the lines of, let the past be forgotten, let the desires of the heart be removed, and let the shadows be eaten. And as he chants this a few times, all you can tell he's just kind of chanting the same phrase over and over again. You watch as, for lack of a better term, the shadow of the man seems to peel itself off from the ground and then coalesce into this orb, the shadowy orb in the air, just shifting, and it looks violent, like it's resisting as hard as it can to be pulled from be pulled from its master, and it just fights to resist, but it slowly moves and then gets implanted into the urn. The man, Brother Mateo, slams the lid on top, and the man stands up, and sure enough, there is no shadow there. He seems vastly different than he was, Like a weight has been lifted off his shoulder. He looks out at you. Brother Mateo again puts his hands on Nikolai's shoulders. I do not ask that you, of course, take my word, but that you watch our friend Nikolai as he goes to live his life and see how changed it is. Are there any others who wish to partake? And the same ritual happens again, 2 or 3 times, as there are other people who choose to sacrifice their shadows. And there's even one person who comes up, and the brother looks at him and says that your shadow is not dark enough to, to sacrifice, that you still have enough light in you to pull out, and to be good and be good on your own. Eventually, the ceremony, comes to the end, and people go off their separate ways, and Brother Mateo approaches you all as everyone leaves. So, what are your thoughts?
That was interesting.
What were you saying in Draconic?
Oh, prayer. Just a simple prayer. Either, to use it, to bless, and then ask for the darkness to be removed.
Alright, before I put my foot in my mouth, why is he praying in Draconic? Is that pretty standard?
Draconic is a pretty standard, even if you don't necessarily speak or read Draconic is a pretty standard language for magic, since it's the dragon gods. Draconic is, so you don't need to read or speak Draconic to be able to cast magic, obviously, but it's a lot of spells are cast in Draconic. Like, the spell for Firebolt is literally just saying fire in Draconic. But. So that, in and of itself, is enough to tell, particularly the magically educated, so specifically Piotr and Galina, that, this is a magical ritual. It's not just a bunch of hocus pocus. Abracadabra, alakazam. It's legit.
Hey. Well, thank you for the invitation. I couldn't help it, but was that also writing on that urn?
Yes, there was.
I was too far back to view it, really.
It's a shame. I mean, it's, again, more words, specifically asking to seal the darkness inside.
that so? Interesting. And where did you learn this?
What's taught to all priests of the Path of No Shadows. We all learn how to craft the urns ourselves.
Really?
Yes.
Fascinating.
I'd show you, but unfortunately I'm out of urns. I used all of mine today, and I've already sent the ones that I had off to the High Father.
What about the one you just had?
I mean, I pass them down, and as I pass them down, an altar boy takes them out to a wagon, and then there's a member of the congregation who's assigned to take it up to the cathedral afterwards. You don't want the shadow around more than necessary.
Why do you keep it?
As I explained yesterday, I keep it to prevent prevent it from being, if the urn were to break, the shadow would return to its original master, and darkness would creep into their life again.
Would it hurt them?
I mean, a drastic personality change like that in the reverse damage them mentally.
But how come it doesn't damage them mentally the first time?
They're going from darkness to light. It may blind a bit at first to others, but it would be unhealthy, to say the least.
So,
What if it wasn't smashed and it was just opened?
I mean, the smashing isn't what would be unhealthy, it's the return of the shadow. Imagine
What
that
if
all
it was
your...
opened a little, so it leaked.
Imagine if all your dark desires left your body. Oh, we are not, as you see, I still have my shadow, and I see you still have yours, so it's not, are not as one of the cleansed. But imagine that all the dark desires left your body, and then you never craved it, and then suddenly one day it just came back. How would that affect you?
as he's talking, I wanted to roll an insight check, see if he's telling the truth about why they keep the shadows. If he knows, possibly.
Yeah,
So that's the part.
give me an insight check.
13 plus something. 13 plus insight to 15.
Yes. There is a, excuse me. As far as you can tell, he's telling the truth.
Okay. This guy knows nothing. I think to myself. He knows very little.
To myself, this fool knows nothing.
Yep, that's... I do it in song. Like, alright.
We do have...
You didn't mention...
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
You did mention yesterday you had original text of the ritual or something along that lines. I think Galena and I would be interested in just seeing what it is, what it looks like.
Of course. He goes back to the altar and he pulls out the holy book that he was using earlier, and he comes and he holds it out before you. Here, please, take a look.
Okay. Hold it. Is it in Draconic? Is it in Common?
It is written in Celestial, actually.
Haha! I can read that too.
I
Yes.
want to cast Detect Evil and Good.
Okay, how are you doing that nonchalantly?
It's like, I'm gonna do it right in front of your
I'm
face.
just gonna cast it. It's just like a prayer.
Okay, it's fair. Alright, so you cast Detect Evil and Good. Let me just double check what it does.
For the duration, you know if there's an aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead within 30 feet of you, as well as where the creature is located. Similarly, You know if there is a place or object within 30 feet of you that has been magically consecrated or desecrated. Spell can penetrate most barriers, but is blocked by a foot of stone, an inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt.
All right. So, as expected, the church in and of itself has been magically consecrated. But the book is not giving off any evil vibes. You know, Brother Mateo is not giving off any, supernatural vibes.
Hey, you didn't say not evil.
Well, because detect good and evil doesn't actually just to give non-evil. It's not. It's specifically, it should be more accurately detect the supernatural, but it doesn't give off any supernatural vibes, no magical vibes. I mean, he's human, is what what the spell can tell you.
What a waste of a spell.
I'm gonna start flipping through this holy book. Try and read some of it.
Give me a notice roll. And then, sorry, a perception check, and then give me a history check afterwards. If you succeed, I'll tell you if you succeed first.
Perception is a 16.
Okay, so now give me the history check.
Come on, baby. Oh,
1.
natural 1.
Nothing is out of ordinary of the book. This is legit. Like you are, this is a legit book. This, predates Silhana, not Silhana, but predates, the war with Morpheus. It's a legit book.
This is.
Do you believe?
So mad.
Wait,
so mad.
Hold up.
And what makes you believe that? Just to really clarify, what makes you believe that is that you've studied enough books that this the vellum used in this book is really old. It's old enough, that the techniques used to make this book are old. That's what makes you believe this book is legit. What am I holding it for, Adam?
Didn't Bronislav confirm to him yesterday that it was a load of hooey?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean the book's not legit.
Okay.
And besides, with his natural 1, he believes the book's legit. He believes the book is old. Is what the natural 1 is telling him.
That's all he believes, is that the book is old.
Yeah, doesn't believe that the path of no shadows is the way to go. He just believes that the book is an old book, an old legit book.
An old what book?
An old legit book.
Oh, I thought you said an old
sad.
joke book. And
I got a +5 on history. You're going into my jail if I had one.
You're going to
Sarah
jail.
has one. You could mail it to her. Maybe by the time it got there and back, it would be able to think.
Dice jail. Yes. All right. This is a fascinating book. Very lots of old stuff, old content in here.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very old. Predates the church.
Let's see. Well,
Wait a second. I'm concocting a thought.
Don't hurt yourself.
If why would he be referencing a book older than the church?
So the church, you would know this, the church in its current iteration didn't exist until after the battle at the Valley of Pelegro. So while Silhana was there, she personally guided the people in the church. But then after she went to sleep after the battle at Pelegro. That's when she, that's when the church became an actual organization. It didn't exist as an organization beforehand.
Okay, I'm satisfied.
I figured you would be. But good thought. allow me to
Does
world
that
build.
does that train of thought make sense?
Yeah, no, train of thought totally makes sense, and I appreciate it. Let me build my world a little bit there. I mean, not build it because it's already built, but let me explain the world building. But yeah.
Well, I assume you'll be wanting this back. I give him back his holy book.
Of course, thank you very much. I appreciate it. This is one of the few original copies that I was there at the beginning. And of course, most of the priests now have reprints or copies of them. Is there any other questions? Anything else? We do have a Sunday school, if you are interested in attending.
No. The patriarch goes as a visit.
You're going to see the High Father.
No, the patriarch.
The High Father, that's what he prefers to be called now.
The patriarch.
Thank you very much. Take care. And are we going to see the patriarch now, or is that happening later?
I thought that was the plan. Right after we let Galena analyze the thing. And then we free people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Freedom.
Artyom?
I can see the thought.
When we go see the patriarch, are you going to be this aggressive?
He's usually this aggressive if he doesn't agree with things.
Don't give away all of my secrets.
I'm pretty sure to stop the sacrifice of shadows, we need to go to that village. So before we go poke the big bear,
he's at the cathedral right now.
Oh. Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Then let us go to the village. Because chances are we start freeing shadows and he's going to show up.
Yes.
You arranged a meeting with him and everything, and it's going to give you the meeting you're working so hard to arrange, and okay. That's fine. Alright.
It keeps him here while we're off doing other stuff. There we go.
He rejected me yesterday, and therefore he gets to wait now.
Artyom's very, having his revenge right now by making him wait.
I'm in villainy.
Even if he's not a villain, he's like, you deserve to wait for me.
Yeah. If one of my folks had come seeking me in the middle of the night, I would have chatted with them.
Okay.
I would have taken care of my flock.
There's a difference between a low-level bishop, which you would be if you actually had a flock, and the patriarch.
Objection.
So if I have a problem in the middle of the night, I'm free to come wake you up?
Sure. I won't be going anywhere.
That's kind of the nature of our arrangement anyway.
Yeah. So, to the village.
To the village.
To free the village.
Alright.
To sing the song of Angry Men.
Alright, you're going to make your way to the village. So, you were told yesterday it was to the north of Albeck. Wow. Sorry, excuse me. So you make your way north, and you make your way out of Albeck, out of Adelheim, and you begin, it is half a day's ride, so about 6 hours. Is there anything that you want to do? Any conversations that want to be had? Any songs that want to be sung? Jokes that want to be told whilst you are traveling?
Galena, I wanted to ask you this before. a couple things. First, did you notice anything odd about that ritual, or just anything? Have you? Again, or Piotr, even you, because you studied in the School of Sorcery. Anything odd about that, or just I don't know what we're trying to find other than the Urn of Shadows, but will that
Patrick,
fix
can I
things?
give you a Benny the next time we play Savage Worlds to say that I rolled an Arcana check?
You can roll an
Well, you just
Arcana
roll
check.
one now.
You just roll an Arcana check. That's also not how Bennies in Savage Worlds work.
Yeah, they don't apply to D&D, goon.
Well, yes, most of those saying that they don't just give you automatic successes.
Well, no. I just said like to retcon the fact that I didn't roll it when I was. Does that
Yeah,
make
you
sense?
can give me an Arcana check now. That's perfectly fine. I don't mind.
Roll it now.
Oh,
We're
well,
calling.
never mind. It doesn't matter because it sucked.
I rolled a 25. Did I notice
Oh,
anything while I
that's
was
better
very
than mine.
vigilantly watching?
I mean, you noticed it was a magical ritual. You retained enough of it that if asked to repeat the ritual, you could probably repeat the ritual.
I could rip somebody's shadow off and stuff it in.
You're pretty certain that the urn plays the important part of it. So if you knew how to make the urn, yeah, you could. Or if you had an urn,
one.
or if you had an urn,
I
sure,
got
you
freaking
could.
11.
Wait
Yeah,
a second.
you don't know anything as usual.
Okay, so Corvette, the important
dang.
part is the urn. And if you get me one of those, I could rip somebody else's shadow off. I'm pretty sure.
Do they have to be willing?
Wait a second. Hold up. We're not gonna go run willy-nilly stealing people's shadows.
I mean, what about the
Oh.
patriarchs? The
I-
Doesn't
It's
have
the real
one.
big-
High Father.
He doesn't
No.
have one.
Ah.
He's
Okay,
been
let's-
de-shadowed.
Yeah, the patriarch. We'll go find
Hey,
the patriarch.
if
and
he's
then we'll-
de-shadowed, he can't hurt us, right?
I don't think
Is
that's
that how this works?
I don't think
that's
so.
how that works.
I
we
feel like
sure?
if this is the fake patriarch, like our secret squirrel told us, and
Where's
you know,
Luchik in this section?
You've noticed that normally he kind of is within range of Galena, but not always within sight. But lately, he is almost always on her shoulder, kind of like perched, peeking out of her hair. But he's almost always with her or on her.
Is he
Lately.
sick? No, she's sick, and he. That's sad.
Okay, so the urn is important. What
Yes,
else?
the urn is important.
What is your assessment on
Those
the
shadows
likely?
really didn't seem to want to go. So at least on the shadow part, they didn't seem to be willing. So maybe they could rip shadows off of unwilling people.
Probably.
What
I was gonna ask is, what in your assessment is the likelihood of actually damaging someone if we just straight up open the bottle?
and just let the shadows go back.
Yeah, like a sudden return of magical power, or some kind of like, I don't know, what would you call it? Like,
Ability to obscure light sources.
yeah. I was thinking more along the lines of like a magical essence, just all of a sudden returning it to someone or something that hasn't had it. Will they like blow up?
No, but they might have a mental breakdown.
Okay, but like, could they get over that?
Okay, I think you're asking the wrong question, though. Even if destroying the urns will kill all those people, if we don't interrupt the sacrifice, then we don't stop Ukstov coming back and he eats all the people.
I know, one way or another, they're probably going to die. Unavoidable. But I don't I don't believe in acceptable sacrifices. It was a debate that I had with who would have been the sociopathic out of our bunch, Pato.
Probably Spinson.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. With the angry gnome. All right. So we get in. How are we getting in? Are we being stealthy? Are we kicking down the door? What are we doing?
Oh, well, you're not at the village yet. Is there any other conversations that people want to have?
This is the conversation I was asking. I'm trying to figure out our plan before we get there. I don't want to just show up and then we all like try 4 different things and then all die because we weren't on the same page.
That's fair.
I can disguise myself as one of the brothers with the silver mask.
Can you remove your shadow?
Well, not all of the silver mask people were shadowless.
Yeah, Brother Mateo had a shadow.
But if you could pretend that you didn't have a shadow, that'd be all the more convincing.
Would they believe? Yeah, would they believe it more? Anyway, so we can get a disguise. Then we have to figure out where the urns go. Because if this really is if I were a secret evil world-eating old god, I would not permit my urns to just be sitting out in the middle of nowhere.
We need to think like a world-eating god and figure out if we were world-eating gods, where would we put our urns?
How about we wait for the wagon with the urns to show up that they recently sent and we follow it?
Aren't we behind it?
It was sent to the cathedral first.
Oh.
We might be ahead of it.
Gotcha. And then, so if
I make somebody invisible too.
Yes, I can as well, but again, I can only do 2 things. 2 big things.
If I were a secret evil world-eating old god, I would assume that these measly bugs couldn't understand the complexity of my grand designs. So I don't think we're going to be, going through the deepest and darkest, most difficult mausoleums and crypts of an ancient society to get to this. But at the same time, it would also be probably pretty heavily guarded.
Yeah. But I like what Galena said. I think we find a place outside the village between the village and Adelheim and just wait until one of the wagons comes through and then just kind of, keep watch and hide ourselves and then follow that when it comes through and that'll take us right to where they're all held, I think.
Very well. And then we free them. Or kill them.
Then we
at least stop the thing.
Figure that out, yeah.
What about you, Piotr? What do you think of the plan?
You're about to say, what is your contribution?
Keeps us jolly and bright.
Our plan? Wait, what keeps us jolly? Anyway.
You do.
Well, first, I think we need to... I have no thoughts. I can't make decisions.
All right, sounds good. So just follow our lead.
Alright, anything else people want to discuss before you make camp outside the village?
Yeah, one more thing. Galena, how are you feeling? You doing all right?
Yes. Why?
Just checking in since what you told us about what's his bucket, your wizard boyfriend.
I don't have a boyfriend.
I mean, you're kind of dating him, right?
No.
Okay. Well, whatever he was, are you feeling okay?
Yes. That's a weird
Okay.
question.
Lutric seems to be having a crisis.
He has been very clingy lately, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you need anything, let us know, okay? Like, once this is all done, if we all survive somehow, we're gonna find a way to, I don't know, make you not sick.
He looks over at Artyom, looks back at you, walks away.
Nick?
I forgot who knew.
No, that's okay. And if your character forgot too that she wasn't sharing,
I don't
that's
know
fine.
if
Don't
you
have
would-
a moment.
Brayden had the moment. Would Corbett have thought that? Said that.
Too late now. What do you
It
mean? She's
happened.
sick.
Ask her about it. I didn't mean for that to come out like that. So she looks uncomfortable.
Wait. I got crap for keeping secrets.
It's not my secret to share.
Okay.
Valid.
It's
Well-
literally her health. So
She doesn't seem like she wants to talk to me about it.
yeah, and
Just
I
went that way.
just
And if
I didn't think about that. So
And if there's one thing I learned from our old tiefling friend is that you don't push it.
smart.
She did not appreciate that.
No, she didn't. That's on me. Oh. I'll go tell her sorry later. I totally blanked on that.
Wait, do you
Yeah.
still have pastries in the bag thing?
Yes, I do.
Go
Doing
take her
her
Toad
to
of
the
tasty
taste.
tarts.
Toad of tasty
Yeah, the
tarts.
toad of tasty tarts.
Yes, I
That's
do,
too
and I
many teas for Ian.
pull it
I'm
out.
not gonna do that.
Okay, Ian, Piotr, are you taking one?
Ian, do you want a pastry?
A tasty tart?
Yes.
Sure. Wait, those don't do anything, do they?
They keep you
They
alive.
get you,
with
you
food.
get their food. It feeds you for like
Oh,
a
yeah.
meal.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, never mind. I was just making sure. Piotr
Yeah.
cannot be intoxicated.
Unless you give
Or
Apple
have-
one, and then we get to see
Or
what
have
happens when you eat it.
Oh no!
I'm literally looking at that. Yep, there's an option here. It's a bag of tasty roulette tarts for Ian, for Piotr.
Well, if you're taking it, do the roll to see which one you pull out.
Roll a d8.
Am I allowed to touch apples?
Yeah, you can't eat them.
Wait. How come we can't eat apples?
Because Patrick loves apples. Wait, no. Wait, did you
Yes,
say
he
we
does.
or
That's
he?
why it's weird. Why can't you eat apples?
It was part of
Being
his.
punished.
Joining the Order of the Broken Wings, he has a long list of things he can't do.
Why is it apples?
Because he
You like
loves apples.
Samson? Can't touch dead bodies. You can't eat grapes. You can't get your
Yes, yes, it's like that.
I got
And
a
who
one.
is Samson? You got a 1. So
Yeah.
Patrick, DM.
Yes.
When these things get pulled out, do they all look the same shape, or do they have different shapes that you could tell from the outside what they are? Or are they all like the same? You just have to bite into it to figure it out.
I
Oh,
mean, the
you could
way
just bite a tart and die. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah,
the
I know.
way that
I'm like,
I have always imagined these tarts is that they are. Yeah, this is the way that I've imagined them. That they
Yeah.
are,
Yeah.
circular tarts. That they have
Uh-huh.
the filling in the center, so you can see what the
Oh.
filling is when you're pulling it out.
oh, got it. Okay, it's fruit tarts from Neater's style.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's that.
not like a jelly-filled donut style. Got it. All right. Well, you see, you got a cherry tart. So, I mean,
You really wanted
Sure.
to eat the apple.
I was like, hey, can we tell? If not, I'm not going to tell him unless someone else bites into it first.
He has to have a taste tester every time.
Yeah.
Corbett over here trying to get Piotr to burn from the inside out.
Why apples?
It's like, I just want to see what happens.
It was something that he liked, and so he can't have them now.
It's something that I like. I like apples. I love apples, and so it had to be. It's to feel the loss. It made it so that this order couldn't have apples.
Gunner doesn't care about
So
apples.
cider, he can't have cider at all.
No cider. That would make me so sad. I love cider.
Alright, so you get a cherry tart.
Excuse me. That was obnoxious. So I eat the tart.
And you die.
You get fuller. That's
Good job. You get full.
Item description. Or no, it's like
Very long process for Piotr to eat a tart. Anyway, now that we've, squandered precious time, we could be saving lives.
we are walking this whole time.
Alright.
Yeah.
So you arrive. I'm gonna need you all to give me survival checks to find a decent place to hide to watch. So, okay, here's the question. Are you going into the village like it's a normal village and then you're just gonna watch where the cart goes? Or are you gonna hide, watch where the cart goes? Because as you approach the village, there is a wooden wall around it. It looks freshly built. Or recently built, not necessarily freshly, but...
Burn the wall down.
I don't know, but I got a nat 1.
Didn't even know what I was having you roll for first.
Yeah, you did.
That's good. That means you get to re-roll.
Sorry, I did say survival, but I'll let you re-roll because you didn't exactly. Now I want to know how you're going about this exactly. Are you staying outside and watching where it goes inside, or are you going inside, like trying to pretend you're just visitors to the village? Like, what are you doing?
I don't feel like we can even get in. I feel like if they're really bad guys, they'd know who we are.
Possible.
I think our best bet is to wait.
I did not foresee a wall. I just imagined it was an open village. I was like, okay, yeah, we'll just...
That's the thing. Is, this wall is
You did say the wall is
recent-
freshly built.
Recently
Oh,
built. Like,
I thought you said the village was recently built. I was like, wow, that was fast.
No,
Like
the
a whole
wall-
village and wall.
Yeah,
Okay.
the wall is recently built.
Did I come here last time?
You did not. You didn't have a reason to come here last time.
Okay.
So, what if we had... Yeah, I don't know. Let's just be sneaky.
On the inside or outside?
Well, if you guys can invisible your way in, because I'm not very sneaky, I kind of clink.
I
Okay.
can't invisible my way in.
I can invisible all of us in. Galena
Oh.
probably could too.
Perfect. I was gonna say because I also clink now. So
Okay, well, I don't really want to necessarily magic our way in to start with. What if we sent someone, a couple of us, or at least conspicuous of us, on a reconnaissance mission to see if there's any reason we could, like, pretend to be in here? Because if this is turned into some kind of, like, sacred holy temple thing to these crazies, and therefore it's super heavily guarded, and there's not something like an inn or a market area that we can stop by, I don't know that they'll let us in. But
Hey.
who knows? Maybe we can approach the gate and see if we get turned away.
Let's find a spot near the gate where I can sit down for a moment, and I'll send Luchik in and I can look through his eyes.
I didn't know you could do that, so let's do that.
See, yeah. How far can you do that from? How close do we need to be? Because I'd rather not let them know we're there. I don't want to loiter by a gate.
I love loitering.
Do you get lots of fines?
No, but a lot of fines. Anyway, let us loiter.
Look, they're seeing how far away she has.
Within
to be.
100 feet.
Ah. Okay. Well, they're gonna see us. But actually,
We can get off the path,
Actually-
cut through the woods, and then stand next to the wall, and Luchik can just go up over the wall. He doesn't
You know
need
what?
the gate.
yeah, you don't need the gate. and to keep us safe, because I'm sure we'll be able to, rest while Luchik does that, I cast invisibility on all of us. That should help.
Let's just walk through the door now.
No, maybe. I want to see know that it's coming, but...
How long are we invisible?
An hour.
Okay. I guess we can have Luchik scout the front, and then we can sneak in.
Yep.
Let's
Make
do
a
it.
decision there.
Decision made. Send in the squirrel. Right.
Okay.
Squirrel.
I need a
Chipmunk,
stealth
right?
check from
Chipmunk.
Luchik.
Send
Luchik's a
in the
squirrel.
chipmunk. Send in the squirrel. Send in the rodent.
Sure, he has an actual stealth modifier.
Would that be dexterity?
Oh
Dexterity,
no,
but
he does. I
he
was
should-
looking in the wrong places. Ha! He
he
gets a
should
plus
have.
4.
Yeah.
I rolled dice. You've been rolling it all night, and now you failed me. I rolled a natural 1.
Here, take this one.
How suspicious are people gonna be of a chipmunk? Squirrel.
So it's
I-
not
I got
necessarily.
told it was different things.
Yeah, not necessarily. It's a squirrel, right? It's a squirrel, right, Sarah?
A squirrel.
Yeah,
It's a gray squirrel.
Gray squirrel.
I got told it
Ignore
was
me.
different things by different people.
You got told it was a chipmunk by Ian. Never listened to Ian. So you make your way. So Luchik makes his way. Yeah, see?
Oh dang.
Luchik makes his way inside. And it's not that Luchik is being... I mean, Luchik is trying to be stealthy, obviously. It's not that Luchik is suspicious. It's just that Luchik Luchik isn't necessarily sticking to the best paths. And so he walks in, scampers in and immediately this group of boys begins to chase Luchik with sticks
Oh no.
and rocks. And begin throwing rocks at Luchik. And
They
so,
must be from Ohio.
So it's not that Luchik is, necessarily failed at being, being inconspicuous. It's just that, Luchik got spotted by some kids who decided it'd be fun to torment him.
Did I ever tell you about the time that I tried to catch a squirrel? Which I was going to release inside my buddy's house?
No, you actually have not told me this story, but we'll save it for another time.
And it's not much of a story. We failed utterly. So.
But yeah, so Luchik doesn't actually really get to see anything, as Luchik is mostly just running around in abject terror, trying to not die or get hit by rocks and sticks and stuff.
Doesn't he have like 1 hit point?
I think it's like 4.
I don't think I've ever actually rolled for his hit points, but it's a d4 minus 1, so... Yeah, he has 1 hit point.
Wow.
But I
roll
can
a
always
one.
resummon him. Yeah,
D4 minus 1, you can get 0, so he just instantly vanishes again.
The official
No, I think
ruling...
you can't get
Yeah,
below
the
1.
official ruling is you cannot
Okay.
get below 1 when rolling for hit points, because that was a big argument in the original when D&D 5th edition first came out, as people are like, you can earn negative hit points per level, and they had Wizards of the Coast had to
Armor
come out and say
class.
you can't.
That would be
10,
awful.
That would be awful. Alright, Luchik doesn't get anything useful, and we'll say that wastes about 10 minutes of your hour of invisibility.
I guess in we go.
You go inside and you begin looking around, and it's just a simple village, in the center is a well. There's a few important buildings you can make out, a blacksmith, a small farm. There's also, a very, a smaller chapel. I'm gonna need stealth. I know that, invisibility gives you a big bonus to stealth, but I still need stealth checks from everyone.
Right, this-
Alright.
Because you could now want it, like I did not do. That wasn't sarcasm. I did not now one.
30-20.
16.
The unnatural.
15 plus whatever the invisibility bonus is.
Perfect. All right, cool. So you're all good. Sit and you walk around. You're watching, seeing what's going on. It doesn't take very long after you guys have arrived. You got inside that you see the cart pull in. You see, but they pulls it in front of the chapel, and people start helping unload the urns and taking them into the chapel. And it's not like there's a lot of, there are a lot of urns actually in the back of this cart. And they are very carefully tied and bundled together to prevent breakage. It's a bunch, they are unloading these urns and very carefully piling, going into the chapel.
Are all the people here wearing masks?
No.
I hope so. We're in a pandemic. I'll be right back.
Are there people wearing masks?
There are, yeah. There are a handful of people wearing the masks. Yep.
Where are they going? If the DM doesn't know where they're going, then we're screwed.
I know where they're going. They're going into the chapel.
So we sneak in behind.
Do we sneak inside? Want to sneak inside?
So you guys can't see each other. So and you can't talk to coordinate with each other. So if you're deciding to go inside, you're all deciding to go inside individually. You're not coordinating going inside.
In that
invisible
case,
people can see invisible people.
No.
No.
We're not on a different plane.
See each other?
We're invisible.
You can't see. You can't see each other yet.
Well, I'm going in.
Okay, so Artyom is going in.
Corbett would he'd be like, all right, let's regroup and figure this out. We know where the story get.
So you are or you are not going in?
Corbett is not.
Corbett is not.
He's like, nah, let's regather and then we can go back in.
All right. Galena, are you going in or are you staying out?
I'm gonna die.
One question first. Did she see any of the boys that were chasing Luchik when she was looking through his eyes?
Yes.
And
she's gonna get distracted and go follow them.
All right,
Kill
cool.
The younglings.
All right, Piotr, are you going into the chapel or are you staying out?
Wait, everybody else is going in, right?
No,
Except for
you are, and you cannot coordinate.
You don't know.
Because you can't see each other, and you obviously can't start talking to each other.
I am definitely going in the chapel.
All right, so Artyom and Piotr are in the chapel. Corbett is heading back to where you all had gathered originally, and Galena, we're gonna follow Galena for a minute. So these
I have a link pearl.
This is not Final Fantasy XIV. So these boys are young, between the you would guess from between the ages of 8 to the oldest probably being about 14. And they're sitting there and they're laughing. Did you see that squirrel? Oh man, I almost got that thing in the back of the head and it would have gone and they're just laughing and having a good time.
I don't think I ever chased squirrels growing up.
You were a sad, strange little child then.
So
I chased other things.
She hides behind a building where she can still see them, but hopefully they won't see her.
Okay.
You are invisible right now.
Until she casts something.
Yeah. Yep.
She's gonna cast minor illusion, and she's gonna make it right behind them, and she's gonna make this minor illusion of a squirrel as big as she can get minor illusion to make it, and it's gonna have red eyes. And it's gonna breathe fire, and she's gonna use prestidigitation, which she can use, I think, to make sounds, and it's gonna roar.
All right.
At them.
Swag.
Give me an. What did you say, Adam?
Swag.
Swag. It's not what I heard.
Yeah, that's not what I heard. I was like, okay.
Anyway,
yes.
Yeah, give me an intimidation check with advantage. And you can use your intelligence instead of your charisma since you're casting a spell.
$22.
Alright. You scare the ever-living crap out of these children. You literally watch one boy's pants just wet. And the other kids just, they all turn tail and run. They're like, ah! It's a demon squirrel! The demon squirrel's come to punish us! Ah! And they just running as far and fast away from that illusion as they can. Alright. Now you are visible, however.
She's gonna cast Disguise Self and look like a priest with a silver mask, and she's gonna go back to the chapel.
Alright. Sounds like a plan. None of you are aware that this is her, by the way. I just must remind you. Artyom, Pyotr, you make your way into the chapel uncoordinatedly. Lucky you don't bump into each other. You make your way into the chapel and you watch as they are going. They are carrying these urns, and you watch as they're going behind the altar, and you see that there's a trapdoor, and they're walking down this trapdoor. Yes, Adam.
I trip a dude and see what happens.
That would
It doesn't count as an attack.
Count as an action.
Why?
Because that would be it would count as a push maneuver, which technically is an attack.
I'm not pushing him, I'm sliding my foot out in front of his foot.
My foot just happens to make contact with his. That's all it is.
There's no hostile action involved. This is something that's super sneaky.
It's not even just necessarily a hostile action. It's any. What are the exact rules, Brayden? You want to read those to me real quick?
Yes, one moment. Invisibility. Creature touch anything. The spell ends for a target that attacks or casts a spell. That's all it says.
Let me look something up.
There's no trip attack.
I cast at 5th level, so it could affect all of us.
I'm
a warlock, so that...
The ruling on D&D Beyond is that a trip would count as a push attack, because it would be it would knock it prone or push it away from you.
What if? Never mind. I got nothing.
That's the most bogus ruling I've ever heard, but okay.
It makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
The trip is to knock. The push action is knocking a creature prone.
I'm not pushing them.
Yes, but you're knocking.
There's no pushing involved.
You are attempting to knock them prone.
Yeah, whatever. It's a stupid ruling. So you said they were going somewhere.
Taking it down the trapdoor.
Okay, well, we can't just, sneak into a line of people going down a trap door. Because they would bump into an invisible butt.
Galena's gonna try when she gets there to pick up an urn and follow them down.
Okay, give me a deception check, Galena. You can have advantage because of your disguised self.
$30-20.
All right. So you are able to just seamlessly pick up an urn and walk down. Someone does kind of give you a confused look, and then mutters I thought there were only 3 of us today. Whatever. And then
nods her head at him. Keeps walking.
So you go on the line, and you go down the stairs, and you just see basically this huge carved out, for lack of a better term, it's a reliquary. There's long rows of shelves. There's, they have urns all on the shelves.
That was the name of my band.
Relic Quarry was the name of your band. Reliquary is a different word entirely.
He tried to talk you into calling it Reliquary, and you guys did.
True, I did have that conversation with you. Anyway, yes. So, but yeah, they're just putting them on these shelves, and there's literally hundreds, if not thousands, of these urns.
She puts hers on a shelf and then goes back up.
Alright.
To grab another one. She's just like
Okay.
one of them now. She's just putting urns on shelves.
Lena joins the assembly line. Corvid is waiting for his friends to show back up and invisibility to wear off.
How long has it been?
At this point, we'll say it's been about a half hour, so you have a half hour of invisibility left. Piotr, Artyom, anything else you want to do in the chapel?
Wait for a moment to get down the trapdoor.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in that case, we're going to call the session here for tonight, then.
He's like, it's gonna be a minute.
I mean, you will be able to get in the trapdoor. It's just things that still start happening once you're down in the trapdoor. So.
Oh, okay.
We're going to call the session here for the night. Thank you, everybody, for being here and tuning in. We will be back in 2 weeks, which is the 19th of May. Very excited. We are, lots of stuff. Again, stay tuned for on our Discord channel for other announcements that we may have or may not have. I have been really busy with work and other things, and so no promises on any exciting stuff. But yeah, keep an eye on that, and we will talk with you all next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya.